October 2nd, 2023. It's 9 a.m. We are holding a special session of the Baker County Board of Commissioners and session. We are now in session. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Father in heaven, thank you so much for being with us today. I want to thank you for all the blessings that you've brought us and bringing us here. Please be with each one of us as we lead and make decisions for the people that we serve. Again, thank you for all that you do for us and your hand of guidance. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So on Wednesday of September 27th, the last members of the Baker City Council resigned, leaving Baker City without an effective government. So today we are in session to discuss appointment process and what will go from here. And I know that staff has worked over a lot of this process, and I'm sure that each of our commissioners have been studying the process while we've been away. So, Kim, do you want to give us an overview of the legal process and what's available to us? Of course.
I can see me and I can, usually this mic works.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Nobody wants to try out our new podium.
That's not a podium. That's not a podium. Okay. So as you said, the commissioners have one job under the law here. ORS 221-160 very clearly lays out what that job is. I can quote the operative sentence here. If all positions in the governing body of a city become vacant, and if the charter does not provide otherwise, the governing body of the county in which the city maintains its seat of government immediately shall appoint the number of persons sufficient to constitute a quorum for the transaction of city business.
Right.
So, you can pick apart that, but if you look really, it's really plain. We have all positions vacant. The charter doesn't say what to do when all positions are vacant. And so we immediately shall appoint.
Right.
So there isn't anything that is muddy or unclear about that. So there are 4 counselors constitute a quorum. So 4 counselors is what you shall immediately appoint. And I'll just point out that the county has very limited authority to do anything within city limits,
Right.
unless we are invited by the governing body of the city to do something there, or required by statute. And in this circumstance, we've got both of those things. The city manager asks the county to appoint, and we've got a statute that requires us to do it.
Okay.
The process isn't defined in statute. The process is up to the commissioners to determine how you want to go about appointing. I did reach out to AOC, or Oregon County Councils Association, which is a subsection of the AOC, and essentially I got a recommendation that I just reach out to LOC.
Sure.
And in my discussions with LOC, the LOC General Counsel has the same reading of the statute that we do here. And when I talked about process, they said, it really is up to the commissioners how you want to do that. I wasn't here several years ago when the city of Greenhorn had no counselors, but we went through a process to select the counselors for the city of Greenhorn, had application, county took the applications, and the county ended up pulling names out of a hat. Now, I relayed that story to my LOC general counsel colleague, and she said there's nothing wrong with that. So really, I'm not suggesting that you should pull names out of a hat, and I don't think any of you have indicated you wanted to do that, but it just illustrates how it's up to you to determine how you're going to select these,
Okay.
Make these appointments.
Where the law says shall appoint immediately, I'm assuming that gives us grace to go through a process.
Yeah, I would caution you to not let the immediately, so I think you can go through a process, but
It's what would be reasonable.
but just be reasonable about it, and I'd say don't stretch it out. If we know that, I mean, we all live here and we know that it's been hard to get work done in the last several weeks, and we see that the city has work that it needs to get done, and so immediately you could do it today, but also you could put together a mindful process so long as you are working it now.
Right. Yeah.
Understood.
So I did talk with county council this morning a little bit. The main reason I did is because we've been getting asked, I've been getting asked by several people about the safety fee, public safety fee. And I pretty much knew the answer was going to be no, we can't do anything about that because this situation does not fit the same scenario as we had with the City of Unity.
Right.
This one is, we have another way to go, and there's nothing in statute that Kim is aware of that gives us the authority to maybe suspend that and then let the new council figure it out. So can't speed that process up any at all. So we're just going to have to let the new council do it. And I just wanted to point that out, that I did check into it for those that were interested in that.
I appreciate that.
And the answer is no, we can't do anything. So anyway, I appreciate Kim looking into all this stuff, and it was a surprise to all of us for sure. I was down at, I'll just tell a quick story here. I was down at Oregon State at the university on a county conference down there about infrastructure. And I got pulled out of many sessions on the 2 days that all this was transpiring. And my phone was blowing up, my email was getting me, my text messages was, anyway, it was pretty stressful for me down there when all of this was happening here, and I was down there and couldn't really participate in everything. But Heidi filled me in on everything. Kim called me and filled me in. And obviously I had a lot of other people filling me in on stuff too. And so anyway, thank you very much, Heidi and staff and Kim, for getting us down this road a little further than
Could I
we
just
want to be.
We did talk this morning about this situation being different from what the county has done for Unity in the past. And primarily because Unity there were no applications.
Right.
So the county did sit as Unity's city council for a number of years and continued to reach out to Unity, the citizens there and the one staff person who's there, asking for applications. Those applications didn't come in, and so city business had to get done. This situation is more like Greenhorn, less like Unity.
Right.
So we're not, there's no authority to make any decisions on behalf of the city except to appoint those counselors who will then go on and conduct city business.
I think to pull the name out of the hat happened because there was like 4 or 5 that said they would, but they didn't care whether they had it or not.
Yeah.
And the 3 commissioners at that time did not know any of these people at all. And everybody says, well, this guy's okay, this guy's okay, and this person is, and so forth. And so we, okay,
and-
let's just draw out
And
of
it's a
that.
recreational
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And people live there half the year. It's a different situation.
Totally different deal.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And I just brought it up to point out, to illustrate that you really can do it however it makes sense for you to do it. And
Okay.
it's up to the 3 of you to decide how you're gonna
I will
select.
vote against the hat. deal.
I think the hat deal is, it's not gonna work this time.
No.
People have called, I've got a few emails about a special election, and I wanted to talk about that here.
Just a few?
I could really disappear, yeah.
Wow,
I've
okay,
got
yeah, no,
6,
I got
8, I think it was
flooded.
8.
Okay,
Did you?
I got quite a few.
Okay.
Me too.
Kim, do you want to speak to that? Because people have talked about which law would be triggered first, whether to call for a special election or the law that we're talking about now.
Sure. So the election laws, county election laws, do allow the county to call a special election in the case of an emergency. That statute requires that the county have public meetings, determine what the emergency is, and then and have a public hearing on it. And that is under the election. Those are in the election statutes.
Mhm.
That statute states that an emergency election may be held, and so that's, that allows it to happen. The statute we're talking about requires that the county immediately appoint. It says shall immediately
Right.
appoint. So I don't see how you get around that directive from the legislature that says
Okay.
that when there are vacancies and the charter doesn't tell you how to
Right.
fill all vacancies, then the county governing body shall immediately appoint.
Okay.
I don't see how you get around that.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it there.
Well, and I was looking that over last night, and right up until 1981, the law only spoke about from like 1975 to 81. It spoke about of this council appointing and having that authority. That language that we're working on came in specifically for situations like this and was implemented in 81. And that's what people have been working off of. That's been the statute ever since. So I think that's, I think that was written specifically for situations like this to have a, continuity of government and to continue on. So.
Okay.
I don't know what in the packet, Heidi, you had kind of come up with a draft idea of the timeline. Do you want to go over that?
Yeah, so in the packets, there's a few documents. There's just, like you said, that draft process that you, just as a starting point for you guys, you can work through each step and the dates and figure out what you want to do at each step.
Okay.
So we can go through that. Also in the packet is the city councilor application, a supplemental questionnaire if you guys want to ask some additional questions of the candidates, a scorecard.
Okay.
I guess that's it. So we can start looking at that draft process. So under step one, obviously today, October 2nd, you guys are meeting to talk about an appointment process. That second bullet there where it talks about public testimony. You guys want to talk about that, how you want to receive testimony, set deadlines or not?
Yeah, and so if we can address that, I would like all comments to go into Aaron so that all three of us will
Okay.
receive everything instead of
Just
a less
piece, right,
structured
Right. So
comment.
you want written testimony for this entire process or,
Yes,
okay. Um,
I agree. That makes sense to me. And that way, all the comments, we get to all read them.
okay,
they go to Aaron and she gets them to all three of us and we're all three of us are seeing
and then
everything.
if the written testimony is brought or sent to Aaron, either, in longhand form or email, that will be part of the record.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then it says here that testimony will be accepted until 12 p.m. on October 17th, which I'm fine
Okay.
with if we are going to go that long. If it's going to take until the 18th at our next,
Okay.
at that session to properly do this. So I think right now on that deadline of October 17th, I would like to talk about the rest of the process before we decide on that
Okay.
date of the 17th, because if
Oh,
we can do
sure.
it quicker,
Right. Yeah.
then I think we should.
Okay.
If not, it goes to the 18th. I really wouldn't like it to go further than the 18th.
No, I think to follow the law, we need to do it
As
as
quickly as-
expediently as possible. Yeah.
Yes.
So that next box, it says that if you guys wanted to take applications through October 9th, which would be a week from today.
Mhm.
If you want to move things up, you can, but it would, allowing a week for anybody else who's interested would give them time to apply. And then if you guys do have supplemental questions, we can get those out to everybody.
And just so everybody realizes the process there, the applications are available on the city website. And we are asking for anybody interested to go to that site, fill that out. And then Erin has been, and have you been in touch with the recorder?
Yeah, she's been sending the
Okay, and so then they're being sent to Erin so that we can work through the process that way.
Will the applications go back to the city before they come to us?
They will be submitted through the city and then the
And
city
then-
sends them to Erin and then
Okay.
Erin will get, we'll
We'll get the
each
final.
get all of the copies
Right,
so
okay.
that we can take a look at
And
every
that
one of the
sounds-
applications.
That sounds appropriate to me. So, I mean, it's, I want to stay out of city business as much as possible and just get things back on track. So,
Right.
yeah, so you collect that and then at the last one comes in, give it to us and we'll finish the process.
While we're on that subject of the application, I read through the application too, and I thought that there was a couple things that maybe were missing, that were questions that I was interested in.
Okay,
And that's where this supplemental questionnaire for the candidates came about.
I like that.
And I just put it forward. One thing that I am very adamant about is that the number 4. Have you previously
Oh,
served on the
right.
Baker City Council at any time? Were
Right.
you appointed or elected? Did you complete your term?
Yeah.
If they did not complete a term, I will not consider them.
Okay.
Done.
What if they moved and then moved back in?
Doesn't matter. I won't consider them. They didn't fulfill a full term. And this has been
Well,
I see as one of the major problems with the city council.
The problem is when somebody, their employment changes and they have to move, out of county or out of city or whatever. And then maybe they've gone away for 5 years or something and then end up coming back. I don't see that as a disqualifying factor.
For me, I'm just making it as simple as possible.
Okay, I will consider somebody that has been on the council before and hasn't completed the term for the reason that I talked about.
For the purpose of moving.
Yeah, something like that. But for just to resign, no, I agree with you on that part.
Right.
So
So,
So for people who've already applied, how will we get this?
well, Erin receives their information and it'll have their contact and she'll just
Okay.
send this back to them for, to be answered.
Okay,
She can send it electronic or
will that,
however.
if some, okay, so if we score the applications as they come in, for whatever reason, this never gets attached, it's just a lower score then, or how do you want to?
Yeah, because if we're scoring on each one of the questions, which is how that should work, then those 4 questions need to be included.
Okay, all right,
We can also, if, once you finalize your questions, if you want, we can see if the city will post this on their website along with their
Sure.
application.
it's a good idea.
We can
That'd be-
also cross-post it on our website.
well, I
Okay.
think you have
Also.
to, so, good.
So
good.
that way, if somebody files or not files, but submits an application that last day, we won't be scrambling trying to get them the paperwork.
I am fine with that October 9th at 5 PM deadline.
Okay,
I believe that that's plenty of time. People have already started submitting. I don't know how many, but I feel like we'll hopefully get a good enough pool by the 9th.
mhm. I know, and this is, more to the people and to us, but I know that the things have been awfully contentious, but I do hope that we get people that are interested, that have a civic mind, that want to participate in the business of the city.
Yeah.
And we'll do our absolute best to go through this process fairly and pick who we think will do the best job.
To the point that I even wanted it blind. I did not want to see and that's up, then we can do that individually. I didn't even want to see a name. I mean, that is to
I
that
thought
point,
about-
just to get rid of bias.
I thought about that. In this case, I think that we need to have as much information on the individual as we can
I would agree.
to make a good decision. And I don't think it's such a small town that we're gonna be able to not know who they
I'm-
are.
Yeah.
I think that's,
I may have,
that's an important vetting process to find out whether, because people can write down anything on an application that they think you might want to hear. And maybe it's all true, maybe some of it isn't true. And if it isn't, I would like to know that by checking out their references or just asking around town.
and you can do that. I am going to have Aaron send it to me anonymous when I take a first look at all of them. As I do feel that there's bias in such a small community and having names
Well,
and knowing.
I don't
people.
think you're going to get away from that.
Yeah, I think I can by a certain degree.
So you're electing to draw the name out of the hat business then, right? In a
Nope.
way.
Nope. When I first look at them, I am gonna go anonymous, and that doesn't
Okay.
reflect on
Okay.
how you look at them or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
So I guess my take on it is that, and it puts an awful burden on us, but when you are elected to any office in the United States, we are representative government. And people, especially at city council, I would have people come to us over and over and say, but this is a democracy. And it isn't a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. We elect officials to do our bidding and to be our voice. And in this case, that comes to point just at the forefront. And I feel very strongly about being the voice of the people in this instance. And in doing that, it would be just like if you were looking at the voters pamphlet, you want to know as much about each individual candidate as possible. And so that's the reason for my decision.
Mhm.
And I respect yours, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But in this case, I need to know so I can make the best decision for the people.
And I will eventually.
And we will at the end, yeah, when we narrow it down. So, okay.
So I would like to ask a few questions on this application.
Okay.
So the city of Baker's application, the very first question, other than your name and address and employer and so forth, is have you resided within Baker City for the previous 12 months? Who knows, does the city charter address that? Do they have to have been a resident of the city of Baker for 12 months? Does the charter say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. And so in other words, I think that question should stay because I think we should follow the charter as much as possible.
Well, I don't think we should change the
No.
city application anyway.
Well, I was just wondering about the 12 months deal. What was the reason for that? And that's answered.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think those first two questions, you have to be a resident,
Of Oregon
in.
and a
in
registered
Oregon
voter.
and
Yeah.
Resided within the
Okay.
city to be eligible.
Okay.
Look at.
And then Christina, did you say you kind of drafted up these
Yes.
questions? Okay, the first one says identify problems or needs associated with Baker City as it pertains to sitting on the city council.
And
I think that's a fair question. Or a question for the applicant to fill out. And second one is, what do you believe are community goals? Communities goals. And I think that's also a fair question to ask. And if selected to serve on city council, what will be your priority? And I might want to say priorities.
And that could, any of this was just really quick,
Right.
8
and
o'clock meeting.
I get
last
that.
week.
And I would like to change that word there. I agree with the statement there, but I'd like to say priorities.
Okay.
You agree, Shane? Do you like these?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the timeline. Yeah, I think individuals with more than, with more than one goal, more than one priority would serve better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
we'll make it plural.
Yeah, number 4, it says, have you previously served on the Baker City Council at any time? Were you appointed or elected? Did you complete your term? And I would like to add this statement to number 4. If you didn't complete your term, what was the reason for you not completing the term? Something of that nature.
And yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah, it's just expanding on that, so that's fine.
So can I just add to that? We will need to be careful about asking that type of questions because it could
Okay,
bring back
so
information that could,
is that is the thought an appropriate thought though? In other words, do we
Is
just
your
need to
con-
change the wording a little bit or what?
So is your concern that if, say, for example, somebody had a family medical issue and that was the reason why they resigned, then we'd be asking for information that they might not be comfortable sharing? Is that what you're saying? Well, then I think they could outline a personal issue or whatever it is that, and we're not disqualifying somebody for not divulging that information or divulging certain information. But I understand your discomfort there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you're mostly wondering if they just moved. Maybe we just ask that
Okay, and I'm fine with that. And,
rather than asking a more broad question.
right, okay. In other words, you're saying mine is to,
Yeah, so if somebody didn't
encompassing.
finish out their term because maybe they had health reasons or whatever,
okay,
I mean.
so I get that. That's why I'm asking everybody's opinion here. So, so if we can add a sentence there that would comply and protect everybody there to make sure we didn't encroach upon somebody's personal privacy. Would be good with me. You guys okay with that?
Yes.
So I'll add a statement, question on the end of that saying, was the reason you didn't finish your term was because you moved or something to that effect.
Okay,
Yes or
something
no?
to that effect would work for me.
Just bring it on my calendar.
I don't know if we can go through all of this any quicker.
Then the 18th.
Mhm.
I know when I looked at it that first morning, that was the timeline that I had suggested was the 18th,
Yeah,
but not totally setting in stone.
right.
If you felt that it could go quicker.
So can we go through the next? if
Oh, you
guys are
bet.
good With step 2, and then we'll just follow through here and just make sure we hit all the
Yeah,
dates. The deadline to submit an application would be by 5 o'clock on October 9th to City Hall. Those will then come over to Erin. On the 10th, she'll make copies of those packets, get them out to you. It'll include the city's application, the supplemental questionnaire, and then there's in your packet today, there's a sample score sheet, or scorecard, to where you guys can score each question. And that can be the questions that are asked on the city's form and also our questions.
R4.
And so you can do it on a scale of 1 to 5 if you wanted to score each one, and then use this scorecard to tally up the final score and then see who's in your top 8. Because later on, it talks about bringing back the top 8, which you don't have to do that either. But if you wanted to bring back the top 8 or whatever, you could.
is the city open on Columbus Day? Okay,
What day is Columbus Day?
the 9th,
Oh, okay.
so, okay,
Yeah,
so we're
that's a
good
good
there.
question.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that score sheet. And it would basically be a score on 8 questions. It looks like to me, the 1, 2, 3, the 4 main questions within the city, and then the 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm okay with that too.
Okay, so that's step 3. So on October 10th, you'll get those on October 12th. So you'll have 2 days to go through those, review the applications, score them, and then turn in that final score sheet and any notes that you make, the applications themselves, everything. The whole
Everything.
packet would come back to Erin.
Okay.
And then she would put together a final score. And then on here, it says, bring back the top 8 with the high scores to be interviewed of sorts. So if you guys
When-
want to talk about that.
when did you want to do that?
Well, so that would be on the 18th. So
Okay.
once she gets the final tally, she would then notify those top 8 applicants and invite them to come to session on the 18th. where they could, you could give them 3 minutes or whatever to explain why they want to serve on the council.
Okay,
Okay,
I agree with that.
I think,
I
I think
think-
that'll work fine.
Yeah, and the timeline of the 10th, receiving the 12th, getting them back to Aaron. And then the 18th for appointment, yeah.
Okay.
And so then we could leave those written comments accepted by 5 PM or
No.
the written comments by 12 PM on Tuesday, the 17th. The public comments that
Oh,
we're
that's right.
funneling
That's
just
right.
the
Yeah.
written
Any written
to
testimony must be, yeah,
Aaron. And so I think that was the, on step 1, October 17th. So I'm fine with that.
yeah,
That timeline.
yeah, that gives us. Yeah, that gives us good time to go through them.
You okay with that, city manager?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay,
yeah, I think that's as quick as you can go.
I think it is.
We
and
want to
you,
be thorough.
and
We want to
do
be
A
thorough.
good job,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think so too.
And I don't see that as a problem from just looking at where you're going to appoint, getting council together, starting that process rolling. That should work in enough time for the reconstituted council to figure out who's going to be city manager,
Right,
which is, we're coming close to that time where that decision has to happen.
okay,
Okay.
I think this process is going to be about the best we're going to get.
I think it is, and I think staff's done a really good job of putting this together and being thoughtful about it, and I really appreciate your efforts, all of you.
So then on the 18th, I think what our plan is, if you guys agree, is we'll do our normal county business in the morning. And then we'll break and reconvene that afternoon to meet with the candidates.
Yes, I would like
that-
that time to be 1 o'clock if possible.
1 o'clock.
Okay,
And in addressing the public comments that have the deadline of the 17th, we'll be able to read all of those
mhm.
before the 18th. Do we need to have those available or we don't have to on the 18th? Are we accepting public comment since we've said bring in all of the comment
I think-
up until the
I
17th?
think they should be here on the 18th. And,
Who?
and we should have them before then, of course.
The
But
comments?
I think the comments need to be in our possession when we're sitting
Oh,
here.
yeah.
interviewing
Oh, sure.
council.
You bet. Yeah.
Sure, on the
Potential
17th,
people,
that we
right.
should,
Right.
Yeah,
by that deadline.
Right.
But what I'm saying is if people are here in the afternoon while we're appointing with the 8 top candidates, the public comment ends on the 17th, not
Right,
during
no,
that
yeah,
session
cannot
on the
take any-
18th.
Can't take any more on the 18th.
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
And all
clarify
the
that.
public comments are written anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and again, they'll be written into they'll be part of the record in the process, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So they would be available,
Well, they'd have to be, yeah.
public.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We have a question?
I got a question,
Okay,
just for clarification. You're just gonna appoint 4, correct?
Yes.
correct.
Correct.
4. Give it back to them, quorum. They can move forward.
I hope.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm good with it.
I don't know, do we even need a motion or do you just,
To accept the process?
I think you sure could, but also you've given staff direction to bring back, to follow the process that staff has outlined.
Okay.
I think by consensus, you can direct staff to
Okay,
do that.
I think
I
we're all
agree.
in consensus, so.
If they don't follow our direction, you're gonna hear about it, so. So I think we're okay.
Yeah, we're pretty tough on them too.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and make that change. I noted just the one change on the 18th that we'll reconvene at 1 o'clock. It says on here 1:30, so we'll fix that.
Addition to the supplemental.
And then,
So
yeah,
we
we'll
want-
finalize the questions here and get that sent over to the city and see if they can add it to their website, and then we'll get it posted on our website as well and go from there.
Okay,
Thank you.
how about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.